When you look at an abstract painting, it's exactly what you think it is. And someone else could look at it and see something completely different. But the person who painted it knows what it is, right? The person who sits down at the sewing machine, taking their time to create a quilt of their loved one's clothes, knows what those patterns mean to them. That's just like anyone's home. It's how you see it. Regardless of what it looks like from the outside, it's what you make it.
Shirley Langford.
Yeah, in there's Langfords and stuff in there too. I never looked at those because I had nothing to do with them, but yeah, there's...
No, Sharon, she was supposed to be DeMarco. Then when I had her and they were like, you had a girl, I was like, what?
Oh, let's see.
And so she became Sharon. So my husband's name is Ronnie.
Okay.
So everybody asked, like, did you name her after him? I'm like, no. Like, we just went and found this book. It was like 100,000 black names, and Sharon was one of them.
Mm.
So I named her Sharon.
I haven't been up and around this area ever. I know that my family is up and around this area. Like when I came to Digby, like when we came to Digby like 2 days ago, I just realized like, man, this seems like it's the Mecca. Feel like everybody's family I feel like it just started here. It just started branching out.
Yep.
But what for you guys, what was it like growing up here specifically in Southville?
To me, I had no problems. Maybe we might have been poor, but we didn't know it. Didn't realize it, you know? Like I said, there was a school back here, but by the time I turned 6 and got ready to go to school, they had built a new piece on the Weymouth School, and then they closed the schools down here. Things were so different. Like I said, there was 3 stores. Every Friday, a man used to come selling meat right in the back of his truck. What do you want? A couple of steaks? He'd pull that hunk of beef and cut it off, and we had meat brought right to your door. On every Fridays, a man used to come selling fish, and then there was a man come that sold vegetables. So you didn't really have to go too far.
Right.
And then we had a store up the road that sold everything. Nails, screws, hammers. Like, it was a grocery store, but he sold everything, whatever, right? My father was a cook. So, and he worked for the Mercy Paper Company. So on Fridays, we couldn't wait for him to get home because of everything that was left, he would bring home.
So when you say up the road, like where we're at now, how long you been living in this house?
51 years.
Did you guys build this, you and your husband?
No, my husband's father owned it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And like up the road to where you used to live, like in so where would it be at, like in terms of like?
So like we're in Danvers right now.
Okay.
And up the road is Southville.
Southville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I lived up the road in Southville.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Geneva and Margaret come from a long line of Cromwells that have been in Digby County since early 1800s. Most Cromwells can be traced back to 2 brothers by the name of Joseph and William Cromwell. Historically, Southville has been known for sawmills and mink farms, employing a lot of the people in the area. Like you said, there was a few schools back then. Do you remember
There was
what they were
3
called?
schools. There was one in Southville. There was one in Danvers, which is this road that goes there, and then there was one way up the road called Riverdale. There was a school up there.
And you went to
Mostly all the white people lived in Riverdale,
Okay.
so their school was up there. My husband, he lived next door, and most of them went to the Danvers school. But anybody that lived over the hill had to go to Southville, Southville school.
When you mentioned like someone would come to the neighborhood and sell meat and like fish, I remember like that in Spryfield too, because that's where I grew up, or around that area anyways. Like my first 8 years of life was in Spryfield, and then we moved to Uniac Square. But I remember there used to be a fish truck come out there. Now they used to scream "fresh mackerel."
Yeah.
Like they would sing it. It was almost like it was so interesting. It was cool.
My brothers lived in Toronto, so they would come home in the summer. And when this fish man found out that my brothers was home, oh, he would be right there because they would buy all kinds of fish. Oh, he loved it. Yeah, they used to buy all kinds of fish. But that was so funny. You wouldn't be dared to sell meat out of a truck. Now.
Oh my goodness, no.
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 So Geneva, what would you say like your earliest memory of being out here is? Like when you moved into this house. What would
When
you say
I
your
first moved there to this house, all it was just that driveway. That over there was nothing but alders and whatever. But no, the kids used to play ball here, and the balls would get lost in the bushes. There was just so much that we never ever had a deck. We only had one little step there. Yeah, this was like a little community. Just this area with the people, you know, with them. Then his aunt lived there, and then there was another house there. Then they lived there, and then they lived here.
all family.
Yes.
All family that owned their houses.
Yes, yes. Danny's, his mother and father lived there, and then the daughter, one daughter moved there, one daughter moved here. But like I said, when I moved here, we didn't, it was hardly nothing.
And like growing up in Southville too, like what were some of like the families, like who were the families like in terms of like their last names and stuff?
All Cromwells.
All Cromwells.
All Cromwells.
So how come it wasn't called Cromwellville?
I know. In this road, it's funny because in this road here
Is Langford
is
Road.
Langford Road. So if you look, it would say Langford Road, and you're right. Why couldn't it be Cromwell? So you got me thinking now. Maybe I'm gonna have to change the name.
So were there Langfords on this road once upon a time? Is there still Langfords?
Not that
There's
I know
not
of.
back here. So like the Langfords, the Jarvises, the Smiths, they're more in Weymouth Falls,
I gotcha.
right? So like the Cromwells.
Different breed.
Yeah, it's different.
Different, you know, the,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know their history, but like I said, ours is from Joseph Cromwell. He was a freed slave. And right up on this hill there, because we always called this Uncle Joe's Hill, but never realized why we called it Uncle Joe's Hill, because he lived up here on the hill,
Wow.
you know?
So what would all the Cromwells do for fun as children back then?
What we did? Oh, we played a lot of ball. In the summer, in the wintertime, there's a big lake up there which froze. We did a lot of skating. We did a lot of sliding. Nothing like the kids now, because kids don't know how to do nothing. But
You ain't lying.
but there was big fields. Like now it's all grown up. Like there used to be, like that was all, nothing was up there. There was always big fields. Across from where I lived, there was a field, and people would come and we'd all play ball. Girls, boys, it didn't matter how big you was, how small you was. You know, if he was too small, he was the last one picked, but
I think I do all right.
But
Yeah, you'd be fine. You'd be fine.
and we slid, and in the same lake. Now you can't swim in the lake, but we swam. We had all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
Played, we hopscotch right in the road because there was no cars, right? The roads wasn't paved.
Quilt making in Nova Scotia has a long history throughout Black communities. But learning about the secret codes and the history of these quilts was fascinating. Now, Geneva, has quilt making always been in your family, or is this something that you just started?
It was just something that, my mother used to do it. Of course, back in the day, they did it for warmth. Take old wool quilts, like old wool coats, cut them up. My father worked away in the summer, but he was home in the winter. And I remember my mother would sit down and cut out the box. My father would sew it on the old-fashioned sewing machine that pedal.
Yeah.
And he would put it together, and then they would knot it. I mean, that's what we had for blankets. No, I only started, about 20 years ago. I just did it for the fun of it. And like I said, I'm not very good. I don't have a thing there where they put the quilts in. I have to do my quilt on a hoop.
Are these some of the ones with the codes?
Yes.
You mind if I take some of them out?
Go ahead. I'll show you if you want.
So what's this?
Tell you what I mean. That's a log cabin. So they would hang their quilts on the line to air out, so that if any passing slaves would look and see it. So if they seen a quilt like this, the log cabin, it meant that it was a safe place. That there is a bow tie. If they seen that, that meant dress up. Get rid of your slave clothes and dress up, because there would be hunters or something in the area, so that they would dress up.
Wow.
And that's called bear's paw. So if they seen that, that meant to follow the trail of the bear. And it would lead them to food and water. See, and this here was what the quilt would look like. There's the bear's claws are there. So if they seen this on the line, they would know to follow the bear's trail.
Right.
And that's a North Star. So if they seen that, that meant follow the North Star, because that'll take you north. That's called the flying geese, and that would let them know to follow the geese, because slaves usually escaped in the spring. So if they followed the trail of the geese, it would take them north, and then the geese would lead them to food and water and a place to rest.
A teacher at school, we do, she used to make quilts for the IWK. So I happened to come across this book, Sweet Clara and the Freedom Quilt. So I just happened to be reading that, and it was like everything that Mom has said. So this is talking about Sweet Sarah and her grandmother, made the quilts and stuff. And then, like I said, and then Mom was making quilts, and then at my school, we had the community come in one time, and we made a big North Star quilt.
But I wonder too if who was the person that set those things up.
I don't know.
I often wonder if it was
Yeah.
Harriet Tubman,
Yeah.
right? I often wonder if it was Harriet Tubman. I mean, how many slaves she's freed, many of slaves, right? So I don't know, but I'm assuming that Harriet have to have something to do with this.
I've been doing music in the city since 2017. I've been performing and stuff on stage, and I always told myself, or anytime I'm ever performing, for me it makes me feel it gives me a lot of strength. It gives me a chance to really kind of show people who I am as a person, Like, as you know, I'm not truly like the most articulate person when trying to voice my opinion or voice my feelings, but like I know, like when I do my music, when I write,
Do it through music.
I can do it through music. Like people can actually, when they listen to my music, they can get a picture and a grasp of who I am.
Right.
And I just wonder, Geneva, for you, like when you're making these quilts, like is there like a certain feeling that you get when you make these? Like what does it do for you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just love it. Can't wait, you know? Especially if I'm doing it for somebody. Can't wait to hurry up and get it done, whatever, right? Oh yeah. Yeah.
And as a person of a receiver of one of these quilts, it's like, wow, like, yeah, just like she said, like, I wrap up in my blanket and it's like, oh, this is Mom.
Danny, you know Don Johnson?
Yeah, Donnie Johnson?
Yeah,
Donnie Johnson, my father.
is that right?
Yeah.
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 Oh, short world then.
Yeah.
Yeah, short world.
Yeah. I actually when I called my father yesterday and he's like, ask Geneva if she knows who I am. But then Geneva was like, yo, yeah, my husband knows who your father is.
Yeah. Johnny Johnson, yes sir. Well,
Yeah.
I used to live in Halifax one time, right?
Yeah.
And I met your father there,
Okay.
Don Johnson up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I met him at. Yeah, it's been a long while since I seen him.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been a long while.
He's looking good now, though. He's looking good. So you guys been on this property for 51 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how long we've been there.
Wow.
My father died. There was a house here before, and it burned down, eh? So he rebuilt it. He was in the service, and he rebuilt it. And then after that, he worked a bit around here for Lincoln Pulp Company. That was years ago, and it used to be up and back of Bear River there.
Yeah.
And then he went to Ontario. Then he got sick over there and came home. He was only home here. Well, he got his first old age pension check and he died. Well, I consider myself lucky, eh? I'm 74 years old, you know, and so I feel pretty good yet.
You look
I
great.
got a bit of high blood pressure, but I can control that with one pill.
Yeah.
They give me another one to take too for cholesterol, right? But it would give me heartburn, something awful. So I just quit taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what they tell me when I take my next blood thing in there, I don't know. They find it through your blood, eh?
Right.
Yeah. When the Creighton Street, I used to live handy to Creighton Street
You
there.
used to live on Creighton Street?
Yeah, Creighton and Canard up. There used to be an Argan store up there on the end.
Yeah.
And we used to live in the back of the store, me and this other guy named Gerald Cromwell. Yeah.
My grandmother grew up on Creighton Street.
Is that right?
Yeah, my grandmother's name's Carolyn Sampson.
No.
And Pee Wee Sampson was her brother. And my grandfather also lived on Creighton Street. His name was Victor Carvery.
I know him.
Yeah, Brother Carvery, they used to call him.
Yeah, he was down here one time.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, Halifax has changed quite a bit.
Has it ever?
A lot. It's not bad here now, you know. I mean, the only thing here is there's no work here.
Yeah.
There's nothing for young people. They used there's a plant up here, a pelting shed. Well, I worked there for quite a while. You know, I finally retired. I quit there.
Oh, you know, my friend was telling me that there was like a lot of mink farms up here.
Right.
And there was actually a person up here who like specialized in like black mink.
Yeah. This guy was over Maynard Mullen, was his name. I think. They had a lot of minks. They had a lot up here too, but well, like everything else, they got greedy with it, eh? See, and then they flooded the market. And then these activists, right? They come along. They didn't want furs and stuff like that. So everybody went under. They went under. A lot of these farms around here went under.
Yeah.
No.
How long has that pond, that lake been up there? Like since you guys been here?
Yeah. Amiral's Lake, they call it. Amiral's Lake. It's
Okay.
up. You go up the road here, or you can go up in Danvers here, and it's not too far up in there, about a mile or so on the right. Yeah,
Is there fish and stuff in there too?
yeah. Pickerel. Some trout, I guess, was in there, but the pickerel eat them. Perch, you get some perch out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't do much fishing. I don't do much hunting. I used to, but I'm kind of growing out of it now again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's too much tramping through the woods.
You gotta start growing weed out here.
We ain't gonna go there, don't we?
Now, growing up in Spryfield for me, it was super like mixed. Like there was a lot of biracial families out there. Like it wasn't like, I mean, when Carson Street was his thing, I remember there was a race ride out there. My grandmother and aunts were younger, but like when I was growing up around there, like it seemed very safe, you know. Like I could leave the house and like my mother's friends would call her and be like, "Yo, your son's up here. He's good." But I felt very safe and independent up there.
Right.
And then coming from Spryfield to Uniacke Square, like it was definitely different because I wasn't used to being around that many black people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like back here in Danvers, that's more or less a white community.
Right.
And then then there's Southville, and then up past there it's Riverdale, and that's a white community. And then Southville is in between.
So
Right.
Southville had to stay in their place, right?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, even the rift, like, between, Southville and Weymouth Falls, right? So you got two black communities that kind of clashed.
Yeah.
Did
Right?
they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Weymouth Falls.
When I was younger, I was never allowed to go to Weymouth Falls. Don't you be caught in Weymouth Falls.
But that's interesting. You think they'd be more
No,
intermingling and hanging
No.
and stuff and
no.
We are a very close-knit family.
Yeah.
And my daughter married a white man, and their family's dynamics are definitely not like ours, right? Anytime that we can get together, we're getting together.
Yeah.
Everybody's birthday is like, Mom, what you cooking?
I recognized something when Geneva mentioned how Southville and Weymouth Falls didn't get along. As I was growing up too, black neighborhoods did not rock with each other. But this goes for everyone. If we spend time keeping together as communities, everywhere would feel like home. It wouldn't feel so abstract when dealing with one another. And each of our neighbors' houses would feel like homes. Can I get you to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
My name is Geneva Cromwell. I thought it was great. I got information and they learned information. It was fun. I had a great time. Liked all the people that was here. Can't wait to see the results. I would do it again. Great time.
Yeah. Margaret, can we get you to read yours as well?
Oh yeah. The day I got interviewed was really fun. It was nice to be able to tell your stories. The experience was great. I got to know Lance and found out that we were related. I really felt like it wasn't even an interview. Lance, it really makes you feel comfortable and able to tell your story. I hope that you all enjoyed being here in Weymouth, and please come back.
Yes. I'm telling you, Rocky Pie. I'm trying to get a date.
Tell my father.